Hi, and welcome to another edition of AI Impact and Strategy. Today we're going to talk to Dr. Lucas Root, a member of the Future Lab team who contributed a really interesting chapter to our new book, The AI Nation. Well, actually, all the chapters in the book are really interesting, to be honest. Lucas's chapter is about SMEs, about small and medium-sized enterprises, about the impact that AI is having and will continue to have on their success in the marketplace. Lucas has been studying and working with AI for about a decade, so he speaks with a lot of experience. He's using AI with his clients, both in operations and in marketing, to help them reach customers more effectively and to streamline their operations. In his chapter, Lucas lays out a number of very useful frameworks, tools to help us think about what AI is good for and how small and medium-sized businesses can rapidly and readily adopt it. Lucas, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to hear you talk about the great chapter that you wrote for the AI Nation. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm a business strategy consultant. I've been playing around with AI for a decade. As it first started to come onto the consumer world with Jarvis back then, even at $100 a month, which, back then was a lot of money, it was worth it because it brought me into this new world that allowed me to see the future in ways that were extraordinary, even though it was a clunky tool back then.
You wrote a chapter for this book of ours, so please tell us about it.
As small businesses and AI start to sort of intersect, what I see is that's going to give more and more power to small businesses, which is awesome. In order to do all of the sorts of things that they need to do technologically. Now, small businesses continue to have more and more power in their hands.
Right.
It's going to allow them to interact with the market better, faster, and cheaper all at the same time. It breaks the iron triangle rule. You can't have better, faster, and cheaper all at the same time, except now you can.
So in the chapter, you break it down in quite a bit of very useful detail. So share with us some of the frameworks that you wrote about.
The businesses that are going to become excellent at AI today will be business leaders. And over the next 2 years, the businesses that are on the back end of that curve, that sort of are technology opposed and they need to get dragged into technology, those businesses are actually, over the next 2 years, they're going to fail. And the market is going to move on without them, and those businesses are going to have to shut down. We're in this landscape where the world is changing so fast that you just have to grab onto this tool and allow it to pull you forward.
So what are you doing with your clients to help them understand and apply what AI can do for them?
I'm working hard to help them bring that in and bring it into their workflows and bring it into their processes and really try to get it into the culture of the company so that people are thinking, AI parallel all the time. And by AI parallel, I mean, you have your workflow, you have your process, you have your human interaction, and there's an AI parallel workflow that goes right along with that every step of the way. So this is what the workflow looks like. This is what the human interaction looks like. Here's what AI is doing in parallel in support of these human businesses and these human workflows.
So are we talking about operations or marketing or manufacturing?
All of the above for it. But what this machine did was it played against itself 4 million times in order to be able to figure out and up-level its capacity to play this game so that it could finally beat this human. Because we can build a machine that can do that, we can also build a machine that looks at a human manufacturing operation and run 4 million side-by-side parallel operations and make this change this technology. And it can do that with 4 million side-by-side parallel operations and say, here are the things that are going to actually win out for us over time.
Another nice part of the chapter is you describe your recommended process for how a company that hasn't been engaged in AI would start to do that. So can you talk us through that?
And the first is, number one, start using it. Start playing around with it. Engage with big problems. I get into these tools and start truly playing and ask big questions and get crazy. And then start looking at the way that you do things in your business. And just imagine which of those things that you're doing in your business could be done better by a machine, or maybe not even better. Even if the machine can't do something better, if it's not something that you personally want to be doing, maybe give that to the machine too, even if it can't do it better. Number one, play with the tools. Number two, start imagining where in the way that you do things, a machine could do it better, or you don't want to do it. It has to be done. You don't want to do it. And see it and figure out how to give those things where the machine could do it better and you don't want to do it. And then step three, as you live in that, you're going to start to look for more opportunities because AI starts to behave kind of like an employee for you. And it's great. When you have a good employee that can continue to show up with the same level of quality. And so you're going to start looking for more things in the workflow that you do that can be moved from this human side over to this AI parallel side. And you're going to look for ways to automate more of the stuff that you do. And what's left is going to be two things. It's going to be the stuff that you are great at and enjoy. You personally are great at and enjoy. And it's going to be the stuff that intensifies your human connection. And that's it. That's all that needs to be left. Everything else can be pushed over into this AI side over time.
You make it sound pretty simple.
Yes, simple and easy are not the same thing. It's simple. It's not easy, and it's not necessarily fast. It's going to take weeks for you to start playing with these tools and get to the point where you feel like you're excited to open it up. I mean, maybe not that. That might take only 10 minutes, but it'll take weeks for you to be really like fluent in the tool. And then it's going to take weeks to months for you to start to really get comfortable with allowing automation plus AI to take over significant chunks of your workflow. Simple, but not easy and not fast. And then you have to sit, like I said, you do these first two steps, play with it, automate stuff, and then you have to sit in that for a while and let it really start to percolate in your brain and become your reality and change the way that you think about the world. And it will, and it's amazing when it changes the way you think about the world.
Can you talk a little bit about how you see it changing the way small businesses do their marketing?
The assumption that I have is that the way that I do my work and the way that I think about my work and the way that I talk about my work is subject matter expert. But my customer, by and large, does not think about the world the same way that I do.
Right.
And they don't talk about the world the same way I do, which means we have a mismatch. Now, can you please, ChatGPT, please, can you take all of this enormous amount of stuff that I just dumped on you and turn it into something useful for my customer? And boom, it is actually like magic. It's going to take in all of this verbal vomit that I have, and it's going to turn it into exactly what it is that my customer wants to hear and how they want to hear it. It'll even order it in the way that that customer wants, as long as I have enough information that I can put together a psychological profile. Right. It'll order it for them. This customer wants facts first. As long as I gave them psychological profile, it can do that. So it'll give facts, and then it'll put a little story in the middle, and then it'll pricing at the bottom. Well, this customer wants pricing first. So it'll put the pricing first, and then it'll justify the pricing with a story, and then put some facts at the end just so that they don't walk away. And ChatGPT can figure all of that out, and I don't have to. And I don't have to spend $1 million on a 20-person marketing team sitting on Madison Avenue who would have been able to do that for me and do it well for me. And now it only costs me $20 a month to get the benefits of what it might have cost an actual $1 million just a handful of years ago. GPT can do the same thing to generate images. Here's the image that I have in my mind, but here's my customer. And ChatGPT can take those two things together and merge them together and come up with what's going to actually satisfy me. It's showing the thing I want to see, but it's also going to be the thing that the customer wants to see. The conversation that happens before my customer calls me,
right,
which is what marketing is, right? That's what it is. Marketing is the conversation that happens before my customer calls me. That's happening the way that the ideal way, the way that it should happen, where I said what I wanted to say and you're still receiving what you want to receive, and then the phone call happens. And so I can put the profile in, I can put the question in, and then I can say, ChatGPT, I want you to generate an outline with specific direction on exactly what to write and how to write it so that I can send it to my client. But what ChatGPT will do is it will turn this into, let's call it an interview template, where all they have to do is sit down and engage with the question and write their answer in.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have, their 2,000 word article ready for me to just do the final editing. And the marketing game has changed so dramatically. It's amazing.
So where do you think all this is going to be specifically with respect to a small business in, say, 3 years? Like, well, we know that what AI is capable of today is going to be vastly more tomorrow. So where do you think it's headed?
These tools are changing the world so fast that I can make some pretty cool predictions, like 30% of businesses are going to fail over the next 2 years, and it's going to be specifically because they didn't start using AI. The ChatGPT model, called the 0-1 model, which was their first advanced reasoning model, dropped 4 months ago, which is 5 minutes, right? Nothing, a zero amount of time ago. And a week and a half ago, they dropped the O3 model, which is ostensibly equivalently high quality reasoning and high quality writing. And it's 10 times cheaper. In 4 months, it's 10 times cheaper. If the pace of change continues to look like that, what's it going to look like if we can have that in the processing chip in our phone in 2 years, where we can just open our phone and have a conversation with our phone like it's a real human, capable of processing language in the same way that a real human can process language in our phone. It doesn't even require a network connection in order to be able to run. The world is going to start to look really different. Here are some things I can imagine. Do you remember Google Glass that dropped 15 years ago, and everybody was now walking around with the one pane glass on their face and looking like crazy weird geeks? When I saw that, I was like, holy crap, the world is going to change. I think in the next 2 years, I think everyone's going to have something like that. Ray-Ban is already working on a ChatGPT enabled sunglass. And so we're going to start walking down the street, and our street signs are going to have the name of our business, but also a QR code right on the street sign. And our Ray-Ban sunglass is going to pull up when we want to. It's going to pull up that QR code, and it's going to say, oh, hey, by the way, you needed to go get tomatoes. They have it right here. Why don't you drop in? We'll walk a little bit further down, and it's going to say, these guys have the highest rating for coffee ever. I know you have a coffee date tomorrow. Let's make sure that when you go to the coffee date, you go here because they have the highest rate of coffee. It's going to change the way that we interact with the world around us so dramatically. It's going to be almost unbelievably different. I also imagine that other big questions are starting to be solved. So how does the world change? Specifically because the combination of AI and expert humans in manufacturing, right? That's where we started, in power generation. How does the world change when you put expert humans and high-powered AI together and start to actually solve really big problems that, again, 5 minutes ago, we had no idea how to solve? Changes are coming, and the world looks really cool right now.
That's awesome. I think that last little bit would make a really nice closing. But do you want to add anything else in closing?
Buy the book, read the book, give them to your friends and family. Yes.
Awesome. All right, Lucas. Hey, thanks so much for taking some time with me. I really appreciate it. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure.
My pleasure. Thank you, Langdon.
All right, see ya. Well, it wasn't all too subtle there at the end, but if you're interested in picking up your copy of the AI Nation, and we recommend that you do, here's the Amazon URL where you can get a copy. In addition to Lucas's fine chapter, there are also really interesting chapters on AI in healthcare, AI in national economics, AI and its impact on culture, AI from a humanist perspective, and a few chapters on AI as a learning tool and a teaching tool, and some chapters on implementing AI from a strategic perspective. Thanks to Lucas for a very interesting conversation and for a very interesting chapter in the AI Nation book.